On YouTube. Today I'm going to do ban list predictions for the next format and what I think is going to get touched and what's going to get all the good stuff, semi-limited, limited, banned, all that good stuff. Definitely the number one card that everybody's been talking about that's the most brokenest card right now is probably Rescue Cat. It sets up too fast for X-Sabers and Glad Beast and pretty much any other deck that tries to run the Arabellum loop combo with it. It's just really good. If you drop Rescue Cat, you put Rescue Cat to the graveyard, you get 2 Arabellums, which you know you're going to sink for. It makes a lot of cards more usable, and it sets up the field too fast. Puts 3 creatures in there if you can't do anything with it, so it's easy to recycle for Pot of Avarice. I think Rescue Cat should get banned, or they should, like, really screw something up, like put Arabellum to 1. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're just going to touch the source and let Sabers be Sabers, because in OCG, they don't have a lot of the X-Sabers, so I don't think X-Sabers are going to get touched as much. I think the Rescue Cat will definitely put it down, but it'll still be a Tier 1 deck for next format. Card that I think that should be limited, which probably not, it's not going to happen. I think Dark Soul should be put to 1. Dark Soul is just too broken. It's just, as many times it goes to the graveyard, that's how many times you search. So, if you're doing an X-Sabers, it's all 1 for 2 pretty much. You got your Gotham's Call, or you got your Faltros, and Faltro just rises it up. But once again, like OCG, I don't think is going to touch Dark Soul, so I mean, we never know what's going to happen, really. They could, print that out for the Japanese, and boom, there it is. It's put in the ban list. Definitely for Frog FTK, I think Substitute needs to go to 1, or Mass Driver. I really think Substitute is probably going to be the one that gets chosen overall, because you've got Frognarks, which are, they set up with Substitute, double dupe Frog, and then you can tribute for Vanity's Fiend. It locks a lot of decks down, so I think in order for them not to drop that with Swap Frog and everything, I think Substitute will go to 1. I was kind of surprised with because when I went to Nationals, there was so many OTK decks, and it's ridiculous. I mean, when a player exceeds the amount of skill, or like if there's not enough skill in a game, there's no sense of playing. Because good players should be separated by their skill levels rather than a luck level. And with Yu-Gi-Oh, there's just so many random OTK decks that are floating around that it's just ridiculous. I want to be able to go to a regionals and top, knowing that I was good, not because I was super lucky. Launcher for Infernities, I think, is going to go to 1. Launcher is the broken card in the deck. Barrier is really nothing. Barrier, yes, it sets up, but there's so many things that you have to do to keep the barrier from just, boom. So, the Launcher is what sets up Mistworm, Synchro for game. It's, to me, it's dumb. It's stupid. I think Launcher should go to 1. Another card that I was concerned with was also, I don't think this one will get touched, maybe in the near future, Archulor Christia. I think that is actually a really good card. If you look at it, you got 2,800, attack power on there. Not to mention, you've got a Roll Oppression effect, and you get to add a graveyard or a card from your graveyard to your hand. I mean, you might as well bring back all the forbidden cards if you're going to plus that much on there. You got a big creature, it's a Roll Oppression with it, and you can add Honest, you can add any fairy from your graveyard to your hand. It's just, I don't know, I didn't really feel like when they made the card, it was cool, made Light Sworn, Christia Sworn, really good, and, I've just, from past experiences, I'd want to see it to 1. That's pretty much all I got for the banned and limited lists. For semi-limited list, I thought it would be cool if they kept Charge at 1, like they have it, and put Lumina to 2, it would make Lightsworn more accessible to, you know, being combative. More like Lumina, drop, get wolf, you have creatures, and I don't think that would make it super broken. With the Charge being at 1, that's the Rota for the deck, the mill off, so it makes it a lot more accessible. Plus Foolish Burial's at 1, so I don't think it would make the deck really broken, but I think it would put enough power where it could be tier 1 again. I was actually a Lightsworn player, so I enjoyed playing it. It was very fun. And I noticed with Lumina at 1, it's really hard to set up combos with that deck. I mean, you really have to start setting stuff, and it's too overwhelmed to play. A random card that I thought, like 2 random cards that I think make a deck too good when they play so many of them, is for Black Wings. I don't like Icarus Attack at 3. I think Icarus Attack is just, I mean, you're tributing the Vayu, putting it in the graveyard, and popping 2 cards on their side of the field. I think that's too much control for a card. And I'm actually was considering War Chariot also. War Chariot and Icarus Attack possibly to be put at 1. I know it's kind of crazy for people that are really big fans for those 2 decks, but it offsets the deck. It makes the deck too powerful. And I think when you can set a Chariot every turn for the Equus loop, it's broken. And then when you can go Icarus Attack and just start clearing stuff out of the blue, I think that's also a little too much. I think that it sets up too fast, and I've always been like a laid-back player. I want to know when I'm playing you that I made the right moves to win, and not just like bloom drop. I think that those kind of hands should happen, you know, once in a great while. It shouldn't be every single game. And I noticed at 2010 Nationals, like Infernities, they would drop it, and it's just like, okay, you know, you got side deck, and then you got to pray that you bust into those cards, and then I don't know, it was just kind of ridiculous. Other cards possibly put at 2 would also be Herald of Perfection, Infernity Archfiend, and Faltro. I think with Faltro, let's just start it with X-Sabers again. Once again, OCG doesn't have all the cards that we have, so it's probably not going to happen once again. But I think Faltro at 2, I play X-Sabers. I played them at 2010 Nationals. I understand that it's a good card, but if they don't touch Dark Soul, they need to touch Faltro, because Dark Soul searches into the Faltro, and Faltro just sets up all those mean combos. So that at 2, I think, would be fair. I had Infernity Archfiend on my list. The reason I put that on there is because Archfiend is also another broken card. I think that it's probably not going to get touched. I know the deck probably will with the Launcher. I think Launcher needs to go to 1, period, that's it. Just because the Archfiend sets up, it lets you search the Solemn Judgment for the deck. It lets you search for the Barrier. It lets you search for the Launcher. I think putting that at 2 and that at 1, I think that'll put enough oomph in the deck where it makes it, like, people have to start figuring out new ways to play it instead of just all the solid base cards that come out of the packs. I think, once again, it comes to more of a skill purpose rather than a I win purpose. That is all I have on my list. Now that I've got to thinking, cards that are on the ban list, that would be awesome to come back. And I've also heard a really big rumor at Nationals that this was going to happen. I heard it from a few top players and then just a few buddies of mine. The rumor is Blackluster Soldier and Void of the Beginning is supposed to be coming off the ban list. Whether it is or it isn't, let's just talk about it real quick. Like, I personally think that it would be okay. Knowing that the card's broken, there's so many other broken combos, but I think with Envoy coming out, there's so many cards that can stop it. You know, you can drop, You can go Royal Oppression like you normally would on a random anything anyways. I mean, it's still got the same card. There's still cards that can stop it, but I think that it would make a Twilight version come back more. I think Lightsworn, Chaos Sorcerer and all that stuff would, be a lot more popular. One of my favorite cards that I would like to come back, I'd like Pot of Greed to come back. Pot of Greed is an instant +1, but I don't really get it. In the Duelist Revolution that they're coming out with a spell card that says pick up the 3 top cards of your deck, look at them, put them in any order, and you can't special summon for the turn. So, and you get to add the one that you wanted to your hand. Now, I think that's just as broken as dropping a Pot of Greed. So, whether, I don't understand where they're going with. If, from past experiences with all the draw support and everything for every deck, like I've noticed they've always got rid of the draw support first. Don't understand why. I mean, I understand that it sets up at OTKs, but if draw power is such a necessity that they have to get rid of, why not get at least semi-limited the cards that set up the OTKs? It puts the winning ratio down for first, second turn wins, and it makes players actually play and not just get a cheap win. I've lost at regionals. I've lost round 4 and 5 straight because of luck sack. So many times. Like, didn't even get to play because it was so overwhelming with OTKs. And just as a Yu-Gi-Oh player, I've been playing since the game came out. OTKs are ridiculous. Why even make a card game if you can't actually play it? That's just like, it's just, I don't know, it's ridiculous. And definitely thumbs up for, pointing that out. I don't know what kind of nerdy guy sits at a desk and makes up the ban list, but I think for the players, would enjoy the game more if they had to play the game out. Damage for damage, setting it up that way. You either you get them with battle damage, you get them with an Exodia win condition, or you get them with an infect damage. Just the major ways to actually win the game. I don't think that it's actually a big point for the OTKs. But anyways, YouTube, I just wanted to give you guys the predictions of the ban list and kind of give you guys my insight and what I think should happen. Of course, I'm not 100% right. This is just a video kind of explaining myself and letting you guys know a little bit more about what I think should be hit. But anyways, thanks YouTube for watching, and peace you guys.